first need to open the video that is being streamed live. Look for the chat box on the side or bottom of the video player. This is where you can type your message. Click inside the chat box and use your keyboard to type out what you want to say. You can type words, use emojis, or even ask questions. Once you've typed your message, press the enter key on your keyboard or click the send button. Your comment will then appear in the chat for everyone watching the live stream to see. If you want to send another comment, just type it in the chat box again and press enter or send. Your new comment will show up below your previous one.
Portmore as a parish. The debate about Portmore continues despite passage of a bill in the lower and upper houses of Parliament to make the community a parish, Jamaica's 15th. Frankly speaking, the two political parties are at loggerheads over it, drawn on different sides of the debate. The government says it is pressing ahead, and the opposition insists it won't have Portmore become a parish, at least not now. But frankly speaking, what do the people, the residents of Portmore, of the municipality, say? What do they want? And what is it like living in Portmore anyway? We are joined today, not by the politicians, not by three residents of Portmore. We have with us right now Steve Johnson, who is president of Garvey Mead Citizens Association, has lived there for eons, from when Portmore was sold for. We're not even going to, when Garvey Mead was being sold for, we're not even going to remind you what those prices were. And we have Garfield Swaby of Bridgeport, also living there for a long time. We are expected to be joined a little later by Danny Williams, but our producer Joshua will tell us how that goes. Good day. This is the Frankly Speaking Jamaica Podcast, episode 157 for Sunday, March 2, 2025. Thank you for joining us today. Please remember to like and share this podcast, and we encourage you to subscribe to the Frankly Speaking Jamaica Podcast YouTube channel. Now, we invite you to type in your comments if you want to comment to the space on this channel as described at the start of the show. Also, you may send text by WhatsApp to 876-503-9995. That's 876-503-9995. And you may continue doing so during the show and after. So now to our guests. We want you all to, both of you gentlemen, each first take a minute to introduce yourself and let us know how you feel. Generally, just as a summary, we're going to go into it in details, how you feel about Portmore becoming a parish. And we want to start with you, Mr. Johnson.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Again, thank you, Franklin, for inviting me to this forum. Good afternoon, listeners. So I am Steve Johnson. I'm the president of the Garvey Mead Citizens Association. I've been so for the last 5.5 years. And as well, I have been very vocal in the whole aspect of Portmore becoming a parish. While it is that we would love for Portmore to evolve to that point. I do think in the whole development of Portmore itself, it is important that we move in a specific sort of way, in a project type way, that it is well thought out, it is inclusive, it has direction, it shows transparency. And as a result of that, because of that inclusivity, everybody has a say in how the whole project moves ahead, even to the point of becoming a parish. To have it done by government unilaterally, I don't think it's the best way forward. It has never been the Portmore way in how we do business, in how we discuss, in how we move ahead. And that is the apprehension that I have with regards to this appointment of Portmore, because it has always been inclusive.
We're going to come back to you, Mr. Johnson. We're going to come back to you and give you full vent and discussion. Let's hear from Mr. Swaby now. We're going to discuss it now.
Yeah, man.
Swaby, your time, sir.
Hello, everyone. I said Mr. Garfield Swaby, that's my name. I've been residing in
Can you pitch up a little higher?
Yes, I've been residing in Portmore for decades now. A community activist. At some point in time, I've done some volunteer or some work to help establish or further several different communities in Portmore. As far as this particular issue is concerned, I don't see any drawbacks to it, so I don't have a problem with Portmore becoming a parish.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's stay with you, first of all, and if our colleagues want to jump in, here's your time. Feel free, and Mary will be giving us some of the comments as they come in. Now, Mr. Swaby, just tell us what you think are the good things about, or what have you been told are the good, or what do you expect? What have you been told? What do you expect? And what you think are the good things about Portmore becoming a parish?
All right, so to my understanding, what is really necessary for Portmore to become a parish, throw away all the rigmarole, is jurisdiction, which means we would have to get the jurisdiction of being a parish, having our own courthouse, our own court system. That alone is enough for me to say, hey, that's just a benefit. Because right now, we do have a courthouse here in Portmore. It's a very small thing. But the point is, if you have ever been caught up in the courthouse system, and you know that you have to go to court, right now people in Portmore have to go to Spanish Town, which means people in Spanish Town is going to Spanish Town, and other people in St. Catherine is going to Spanish Town. So you get caught up in the court system for hours, maybe the whole entire day. If Portmore court is just dealing with Portmore stuff, it makes it shorter for you. But that's just one. Also, the whole talk about if we retain 100% of our taxes versus a percentage of our taxes, that would benefit us as well, as far as bringing in more revenue for our community of Portmore.
Land tax, property tax.
Yes, sir.
And some of the motor vehicle taxes.
Exactly, because I think Portmore has a 94%, 94% compliance rate. I know Mr. Johnson, we hear, pay your property taxes, with the car going around and, set up Portmore, pay your taxes, and we come out. So they really go out, and I'm proud of Portmore.
We don't question community politics.
Okay, great. So there's a start. Any questions, my colleagues? And Mary, remember, jump in, because I see the comments coming in.
Yes, I remember those politicians when I was growing up, where it was not the glam thing it is today. The people would actually be in the community, footing it and doing the footwork to get the people involved, because a lot of us believe that the government is Andrew Holness, and Portia seems to know. The new whoever on the PM.
Mark Golding.
When they think of government, they think of these people as the government, not realizing that we're the government and it is our money that enables us to fix the road and pay the light and pay out all of this in welfare that we need to get people off. But anyways, we have some comments. Hi, Jeffrey is here with us, and Jeffrey says that I asked a question about what you think about Portmore becoming a parish, and Jeffrey is saying that why the rush to hold on, one comment disappear. Why the rush to make Portmore become a parish? I think we do another parish. I think we do need another parish in Jamaica. Then we have is do not even want to say?
I think because it would be in conflict with the rush.
It did not would make. So we thought the not, but I think that would make sense.
There you go. He says not.
We do not need another not. Thank you, Jeffrey. Yes, we do not need another parish. While Taiwan Henry says, I'm all for Portmore becoming the parish thing grew at time of progress. Yes. Welcome, Marva. As well, Marva is here, and we are waiting on her comment to see what she has to say about the Portmore thing. But so far,
I want to suggest.
Fundamentally, I don't have a problem with Portmore becoming a parish. But what I know about Portmore is that the things in Portmore usually goes through processes. So what is missing here is that the people have not been consulted with, right? And therefore, for example, Portmore is the only place where they have elected their own mayor, and that was done through a process. So what I think must be done is that the people must be consulted with, and there are some infrastructure development that is required. Now, what I observe, the Electoral Commission has pointed out that the process that is being taken right now is going to breach the Constitution. Now, if we are going to make Portmore
because some of the boundaries cut across electoral boundaries.
Yes. And I am saying, if we are going to make Portmore into a parish, we shouldn't have to go through any we mustn't have any legal challenges. I think it is a place that has developed over the years from when it started, and it has been done smoothly. So I think the government should just, handle the process in a very sensible way and talk to the people. Right now, do we know if the people of Portmore want Portmore to be a parish? Have we consulted with them? That is what I think must be done.
I would love to come in on that.
Your time before we
yes, I have suggested from the 1990s that Portmore is unique in many ways and should have its own parish status. That's from the 1990s. I suggested that. And while we talk, I remember very well because my brother helped with that causeway bridge that was made for entrance to Portmore. And I also remember when toll was to be charged. Who prevailed in the long run for the toll? Don't you have toll now? Didn't the citizens object at that time? And they still have to pay the toll to go home. There was a long drawn out thing that some people might have forgotten. So unfortunately, the politics getting in the way of this thing. And I don't like what is happening. It can be done in a better way. Portmore has its own issues, and Portmore should really be able to deal with the issues. Nowhere else in the island has those issues. Two places I suggested. Port Royal is different and Portmore is different. So those two P's, they should be treated differently and not be mixed. Portmore should not be mixed up with St. Catherine as a large parish already.
All right, we're coming to Mr. Johnson after Mary. If you
yes, we have Tawan who has come in with her vote for yes, Portmore should be a parish, and I sense that she's just annoyed with these people with the back and forth. In her comment says, were they consulted when their road became a toll road? The odd here is all that people think they are going to be displaced. The people want to be a parish, and it's long overdue. She's tired of the back and forth with it.
Okay, and I see Israel.
Yes, Israel. I figure that Israel, will learn a little bit more like myself about the benefits of becoming a parish, because that's where he's asking what are the benefits of being a parish. So I just tell him what your guest has said so far about having your own courthouse and a portion of the land tax going back to the community. But we'll hear.
All right, Mr. Johnson. So you have said. You're not that you're against the process, but you're against how the process is going. You expected a sort of evolution of Portmore to that space. Define that for us a little more.
All right. In 2013, Portia Simpson made an address to a number of persons at a ceremony with regards to Portmore, in which she had said that it should really be evolving in a way of having, say, a 10-year plan to move towards being a parish. So there's no problem with it being a parish, but it needs to be done in the way as your fellow colleague had said, that includes the input of the citizens. Now, where we have done with regards to the representation and the whole aspect of more or less trying to find out if the residents are in favor is that we have had some online engagements and 2 showings in parish. If we're working off the census that was taken in 1987, where it said it was 220,000 persons, which now has doubled, then you taking 2 online sessions and 1 open year session does not even constitute 1% or 0.1% of the citizens. What really should have had was a number of referendums and discussions. And it seems to me that you're putting the cart before the horse, because when you speak about certain aspects of it, making Portmore a parish, we once had 22 parishes. That was done based on the amount of slaves that you had in each area, to which you had a courthouse that had to deal with each set of slaves. However, we are in a modern society. Mr. Wheatle had said we are going to do this differently. You cannot then say that and know that there are a bunch of persons who are in a part of that project that have project management experience, and then come and say at the end of it, all you need to do is have a parish court. That is the first thing. It's wrong. Because if it is that you're going to do it in a modern way that reflects a modern society, then you should not be reverting to the colonial way of doing it when you're met with a challenge. You are moving forward to set the example so that other parishes can be made, so make it a modern process. The modern process is inclusivity. Inclusivity means that you have to have a referendum and feedback from the very residents that is going to affect, not only in terms of what you're going to do, but in terms of how it is governed. It is the same governance that has moved Portmore from being a sleepy seaside town to where it is now as a city in the shortest possible time, and when in comparison to other municipalities in which they have had this sort of riffraff, including what has happened in Kingston with development companies who are building in people's backyard. Those people don't have a say. Portmore persons have a say, which means that you feel inclusive in the community. You feel like you want to journey with the community. You want to evolve with the community. So if it is that you're going to bring it towards a parish, give us a 10-year plan. Set it out in front of us. Convince us that you're going to do this. And at each point that you reach this point in the plan, you are satisfied that, and as well that you're bringing the people along so that you will be fully supported in establishing your parish. And that, I will add at the end of this, is also inclusive of that hospital that we're talking about. Those infrastructure. If the population that you have done the census for it, 87 is 220, the first thing that should have been done is a modern census. That's how you determine what is needed.
Well, I was going to say that's a shame that even now we're not even finished the census. That was what?
That was
4 years
started
ago, interrupted, of course, by COVID. It's a shame that we haven't been able to complete. It's really disgraceful.
Exactly.
But
and that would have been the first step.
But I'm coming back again to you, Mr. Swaby.
Yes, sir.
Can I just ask you about the consultation? Are you satisfied? And when you go around, that people have heard enough, that people know enough what this parish, what benefits, and for you the benefits include, I don't think that's the only benefit that you see. The courthouse, you don't know necessarily when you're going to get that, but
let me
the consultation, did you get a chance to go to any?
By saying, my answer might offend not necessarily people here on the show, but who listen. Yes. But you have to speak truth, and I'll try to do it tactfully. The truth is this: nobody is going to be satisfied if it's not what they want. And so when I'm speaking about consultation, and he mentioned consultation was done. Whether they like the amount of consultation that was done, if they think it was enough, that is up for debate. But consultation was done that involved people from both parties, both major parties.
No consultation.
So whether you like it or not, consultation was done. The last meeting, and both myself and Mr. Johnson were there, the big shameful meeting that happened at the municipal council. When I left that meeting, first of all, the meeting was to talk about Portmore becoming a parish. There were people there arguing about whether Andrew Holness thief money or not. There were people there talking about JLP nah get this, JLP nah get this, and people that PNP nah get this. They did not come there to hear about the facts and the statements and to make an informed.
The partisan politics was in play.
What I'm saying is, When I saw the paper and the shameful way these people behave, I said, who would want to consult me in the first place? Because if we all know the thing shut down, so who would even want to consult those people? I'm not saying
the government must take responsibility for that, because anybody who has been living in Jamaica over the years will know that anytime in Jamaica, election year is a different year. Election year is a year when the political parties put everything into winning state power, and therefore they mobilize their supporters to discuss Portmore in an election year. It ought not to have been done, because you are going to get politics involved, because the people right now are looking towards an election.
Also, may I add, Mr. Swaby?
Yes, sir.
With all due respect, sir, the consultation that you speak of was inadequate. I just gave you numbers.
Well, hold on.
I gave you a chance. I gave you a chance.
Let him speak, Mr. Swaby. Let him speak, because we gave you.
Right. I gave you numbers, and I spoke about engagements. And what you're speaking about with regards to the consultation was done, whether or not they like it. Isn't the purpose of the consultation to actually get the feedback as to whether or not you are favorable towards it? And that the consultation, yes, and the consultation in of its nature itself, as well as the numbers, should reflect where you're going to go. It's not that you're going to disregard it. It's not just a ceremonial thing. It is an aspect which you have sold us on, which speaks to a process. If it is that you go to it and a number of persons say, no, we don't want it to be a parish, yes, that is what you need to take away from that meeting. If you have had 4 meetings and you're supposed to have 20, that means it's insufficient. If you have not satisfied the criteria of allowing person to speak and are saying not everybody's going to happy, I agree with you. But at least it should reflect what the persons want, because that was the whole purpose of the engagement. That's why they're speaking of. That's why you are speaking now about the amount of engagement that was done. It is insufficient. It was insufficient. Secondly, if I may, we need to draw this line about politics. Persons from Portmore who are not aligned with a political party that are being called political for actually standing up for Portmore. And you must realize
that is happening, Mr. Johnson. I've got to get in there. That is happening too much in Jamaica now.
Exactly.
Put you on a side, because
on a side and say that you are proposed. Once it is that you are opposed, you are now political and you are aligned with the party. Right. And you need to stop that, because one of the things that you have mentioned by your own word is that regardless of what people say or how they represent the whole thing, you don't business with it because persons are not happy about it. But you have not said that the results have reflected that we want to become a parish.
All right.
All right. Okay, give him a chance now, and then we'll go to Mary. Mary, I see you're responding to some of the questions, Mary. But
let me respond to one, both Mr. Richards and Mr. Johnson. Listen, you said the consultation is, when you go through the consultation, you're supposed to say, hey, these people over here, they said they're in favor of it. And over here, they said they're not in favor of it. And you leave and you go and you move. I am not disputing that, What I'm saying, and I specifically pointed out the last time we had anything involving that, is the foolishness that happened. And when I left there, I don't know if out of the 100 people, if 55% wanted more to be
May I point you that is one engagement.
Hold on, let me finish. I know that is one engagement.
Let him finish.
That is still an example. And that is what I'm trying to say. As far as talk about political, my thing is this, Mr. Richards, is I have the municipal council keeps a meeting every single month. They meet and they have discussion. Portmore is the biggest and the most populated populated city in the English-speaking Caribbean. So when they have that meeting, you would expect people to be there. I have been to meetings where I'm the only person at the municipal council meeting, me and the 13 council them. So me sit down.
Mr. Swaby, I must just tell you that is a Jamaican thing now.
Hold on. I'm getting the point. Is this?
People don't go to municipal corporation meetings.
Look how those people come out for a municipal meeting when it comes to that, as you're talking about the politics. Where were those people?
Yes.
when they're calling for this and we need this and we need that, and them talk about Portmore need this, Portmore need. Where were all those people when that meeting was going on to call for all of that?
Sir,
They came out.
So
They came out.
And then we're going to
last meeting.
They came out.
Mary.
They came out. They came out in their numbers. They came out in their numbers to support. They came out. They came out in their numbers to support their different political views and parties.
And nobody is listening to positives or negatives, and that is my point.
Sir,
and that is why I'm saying. That is why I'm saying. What happened?
It doesn't matter what you want to say. They're going to follow PNP because it's PNP. They're going to follow JLP because it's JLP. And we, the people, need to stop it, the non-political people, and look at facts. What happened at the meeting? I am not surprised. I am not surprised at what happened at that meeting. Because
no, I'm not surprised either.
Because you have to understand. I understand what is happening there. It is election time, right?
Everybody understands what is happening there.
This is the mode. This is what. This is what I have seen in Jamaica from I have been following elections from 1972 until now. This is how Jamaicans operate.
And I will add
which doesn't say that we shouldn't have any consultation with them.
Exactly.
And then we're going to go to Mr. Johnson and Mr. Swaby and wrap up here.
Mr. Richard.
Mary, your turn. We're coming to you, Mr. Johnson. Right after this.
Go ahead.
We're going back. We have some juicy comments. We have Tawan say the big thing is who are going to be displaced, and Fix Jackson is the big problem, and he can't be the voice of the masses. And Fix Jackson is the PNP person over there, obviously. Yes. Jennifer Jackson says, "Good evening. Yes, I agree with Winnie. St. Catherine is too big." Patrick Maitland, hey Patrick. My primary concern is the toll of our road. I'm paying daily for my commute to Kingston. It amounts to as much as $1,200 if I take the SUV and $700 for the smaller car. A financial burden to us. Maybe that's something they need to put on the agenda. Tijuana, come back. All the plans will be in place as the time goes. A seed grow in time, and it is now a political football. I suppose she's responding to Mr. Johnson. That's okay.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Johnson, we're going to ask you to wrap up. We're going to give you a minute to wrap up. And same thing for you, Mr. Swaby. Just to ask either of you to say where we are at now and what you expect, what you think can be done at this stage in terms of the people of Portmore. So Johnson, your turn.
Okay, I believe what we have to do is satisfy the concerns of the people. The whole thing about it is that you cannot simply say, regardless of the last meeting, the persons who were coming before this meeting were patriots of Portmore. I will refer to them as that. And that would reflect accurately who was interested and what should have been involved. As we have spoken, we're talking about political run-up. We do know that everybody is wagonist. We know about what the wagonist thing is about. Everybody run come in. And that meeting, it really did have a lot of political persons. But then, when the meeting ended, if you realize who was in the room, it was persons from both parties that then spoke and said, we need for this thing to go in a really disciplined sort of way. I don't know if you stayed back to see what is done. My hope for Portmore is that the public servants, again, reconnect with the citizens. That is what we have been knowing to be the governance. It is one of the reasons that we are watched as one of the residential areas in the region because of our governance. So we have done it, the inclusivity, and I want to continue to see that. And you cannot at any point exclude the persons where that is concerned. Fitzjackson may be the face of opposition, but it's not he alone that is opposing. And if you take him out of it, you're still going to have a bunch of persons that but need a spokesperson who is going to speak on these matters, because this is not the way that we should do it. A seed will grow, yes, but the seed needs to water, it needs to fertilize, and it takes stages for that to happen, not to come the next day and say, beer, because that is what I want. And you have people that are to be considered in it.
Thanks, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Swaby?
All right. I agree with Mr. Johnson. I don't want to think I was saying disregard people. What I was pointing out is the difficulty in that solution, in that situation, and why we have nothing. It's hard to get anything accomplished because of the politics. However, as the train is running and it seems now where it's going, whether it reaches there or not, people need to know what to look forward to. So what I am saying is this. Don't think about the grand thing of it is, if the majority of our the taxes that come to the St. Catherine is coming through Portmore, Portmore becoming a parish for itself, holds on to all those taxes, which means it increases our resource to give us things that we want, like better roads, like a hospital. My goodness, we need a hospital. I'm afraid to ever go to Spanish Town Hospital, and who want to expect? We need hospitals, things like that. So when people are talking about want to market and we don't have this, we don't have market now, and people talk we need cemetery. We don't have all that now, but that still don't stop you from burying your dead. Think about the potential of what can happen when Portmore controls its own taxes. That is all I'm saying, because it's going one way we don't know.
Mr. Swaby, you know, I've been struggling not to go to that part, but I suppose in another discussion we should go there. When all the parishes in Jamaica have what you are saying Portmore will have one day, you know, control of their resources. Have you seen what they have for those resources? Any parish, which parish you would say is as wonderful markets, are wonderful cemeteries?
Right, and I don't understand why people are talking about how we need cemetery and we need markets and all that before we do a parish. That is nonsense.
That's another discussion, Mr. Swaby. I'm not even pushing that. There are wonderful hospitals.
Hey, there's Daniel.
Right.
I just want to ask us, all of us, to think about which is the parish which is so attractive and so wonderful.
No, but Franklin, there's one thing about Portmore that is different from all the parishes.
Yeah.
When you look at the level of participation, how the people are organized. The people in none of the parishes are organized that way. None.
Because they're not included in any decision.
Okay. All right. We got to go. Mr. Johnson and Mr. Swaby, we really thank you. We have another Portmore resident. We just couldn't take him on at the same time when we have because the capacity of this StreamYard, which has been working wonderfully. But again, we want to thank Mr. Swaby for being here today and for putting forward his position for him, and that's all he's putting forward. And also Mr. Johnson saying, for me, that's my position. He's not putting forward the position of Portmore, the party, the anything, or the Citizens Association of Government. He's putting forward his own position. Thank you both, gentlemen. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the invitation. All right.
Good. All right, so Mary, I don't know if you have any comments there before we take.
Yes, we have some comments.
Let's get as we get on Mr. Williams. He's going to bring on Mr. Williams for us in a little while. Mr. Williams, you turn sideways, man. But we're going to work that out. Go ahead, Mary.
Yes, please. We have Jabir. They were commenting during the two residents presentation. Jabir is saying that it's a process. Train is running, it's a runaway. Most time that leads to a crash costing lives and money. Hospital needed. We running down money as a promise, not a prospect. So true, sir. I suppose. So that was from Tawan. And Israel is still waiting to hear the criteria and benefits of a parish status.
Yes.
So we need
good position.
Are we going to address that? Just give a little list of the benefits and criteria.
Well, the people. I don't want to venture there, Mary, because there are some people who are taking it upon themselves to say what that is and what the criteria are. But we're going to come to some of those issues. Let me just also we welcome now Donovan Williams. Mr. Williams is a man from Portmore as well. So Williams, you know what we've been talking about. And even before I take Mr. Williams, I want to say this to you, my colleagues, and the wider audience. Maybe the media also let down the society in this one, Desmond. Maybe our colleagues and the various talk discussions, we hear, of course, as well. But certainly, a mass media, traditional media, maybe they should have been carrying the discussion and debate and talking to the people of those communities. And I've been hearing what the concerns of those communities are and suggesting what parishes do, what parish administrations do, what municipal corporations do. Maybe maybe this is also another media letdown.
Journalism in Jamaica right now is at a standstill.
Don't use that word. I think I know where you want to go. We talk every day, so we know where that you want to go. Mr. Donovan Williams, we welcome you, sir. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, your community, where you're from, and how you feel, Mr. Williams.
All right, good afternoon, Franklin, and the other members of the panel. Sorry to join you so late, but there was a 4-vehicle accident on I-85 that held me up a bit. I don't know what has been said already regarding Portmore becoming a parish, but I'm from Westmead. My community is Westmead. We are situated right between Garveymead and Westport. You know, we're very close to the Portmore Mall, like about 5 minutes away, and very close to Edgewater, Bridgeport. So you can just imagine where we are. We're very close also to the Bridgeport High School. So I'm just giving you a general location of where we are, right? Currently, I'm a member of the executive of the Westmead Citizen Association. And some time ago, a couple months here, probably 2 years ago, when this idea of Portmore becoming a parish, we had a little rough discussion, you know, at one of our meetings. And basically what came out of that meeting is also my personal opinion as to what does a parish, in terms of being a parish, what does it have to offer the citizens? Basically, in my opinion, Portmore being a parish has not had much development to offer the people. It has not had much to offer in terms of, you know, just looking at some basic things. We have not many major factories in Portmore, probably just one or two that I can think of. We don't have what you call we have, as I said before, we have a couple high schools. We don't have a large community college. That is the only tertiary institution that is in Portmore, apart from Hart College of Construction. And basically, you know, we don't have whatever it takes for a parish as such. What would we call the parish, the capital of Portmore? Portmore Mall, Greater Portmore.
What would you expect, Mr. Williams, to be there?
What I expect from all of this is that before we can become a parish, we need a lot of development in Portmore. For instance, our access and exit roads are not what it should be, apart from the toll, and that can be very congested. If you look at if you're getting out from Portmore to Spanish Town using Bernard Lodge Road is a mess. You know, see the Grange Lane, the same thing. Dumble Hole in the same thing. We need some development in terms of roads. Right now, we're having traffic congestion in Portmore extensively, very often, both morning and in the evening. And there's not much for the job opportunities. If we were to take some of the jobs and place in Portmore, then we would not have to be calling Portmore a dormitory community. And this in itself is not a good name either. It means that we're sleeping. That is where people just sleep. You understand? So in order for us to become a parish, we need a lot of development. You know, in my opinion, you know, in terms of we don't need an hospital. We don't need an hospital because we have a major project going on at Spanish Town. We have a major project going on for the Greater Portmore Health Center. You know, when you talk about 5.5 billion for Spanish Town and 600 million for Portmore, I mean, that's a lot. And I heard since week that ground has been identified for the Portmore Hospital, which to me is sound ridiculous. It has to be on a major thoroughfare where every single bus that applies Portmore, Kingston, Half Tree, Spanish Town can have exit, can have can have exit
access.
You know, so that's my take on it. That's my take on it.
Before my colleagues come in, let me just ask you this quickly. From your point of view, have you had enough? Have there been consultations that you could have gone to or you didn't go to, but there were consultations with whoever the authorities were, as was being stated? Did you have those occasions where you could express yourself?
Well, I've had two occasions, and honestly, our main political parties turned these things into fiasco. Because I remember going to two by Hart College auditorium, and it turned out into a political thing. One side blaming the other, and they were crawling over some simple thing like Climate Park and Christmas tree and all of that. And I just walked out because to me, those did not make sense. We went there to hear what was going to happen in terms of development for Portmore and these things are done. So the consultation that has been going on is not really the voice of the people. You know, you understand? It's all depends on who calls it. Then you have one color dominating. That's my take on the two consultations that I've been to.
Right. Any colleague want to come in and just
we have a comment from Jabir here before, just to read this comment from Jabir, because one of our previous guests, did I hear him correctly in saying that the meetings, nobody came to the municipal meetings before
the municipal corporation monthly meetings.
Monthly meetings.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm understanding what Jabir is saying here, he seems to live in Portmore, and he's saying that he begged to disagree from the parish proposal. We have had large turnouts that were civil. I have been to every one of them since 2012, and he says that the monthly meeting gets good turnouts. I don't know if this is contradicting what our guest was saying before, or it's a different meeting.
It's a different meeting. Okay. Monthly meetings are where the councillors come together to have general discussion about committee meetings that have taken place, and all over the country, people go.
And residents are
invited. It's like the parliament of the parish. It's like the parliament of the parish, and you can't speak.
And is that open to residents?
Yeah, it's open to everybody, but people don't go.
Okay.
And you can't speak. It's for the councillors and the officers of the council.
Yeah, exactly. You have to speak to the councillor.
Yeah, so you'd have to talk to the councillor before. Mr. Johnson, before Desmond, go ahead.
No, I just want to use the opportunity to just break away from the Portmore discussion for 30 seconds to tell my listeners and viewers and colleagues that the funeral for veteran journalist Leslie Miles will be held on March 15th in Montego Bay. You can watch Frankly Speaking and other media platform for details. I know the service will be at 11 a.m.
Yeah, and anybody who is interested can also get the information from the page.
Yeah.
Mr. Williams, I'm going to give you the last word. Just tell us what you expect to happen now, what you would like to see happening now. Quickly, give it 30 seconds.
All right, quickly, what I'd like to see happening in Portmore is more development, more development taking place in terms of job opportunities for our youngsters, job opportunities just for the residents. You understand? We need some development in terms of road infrastructure. We can build the roads now and then build around them later, put in whatever factories or whatever we have. You understand? But these things need to come in place. The Bernard Lodge Road to Spanish Town needs improvement. The Grange Lane Road to Spanish Town needs improvement. The Dumbler Holding Road to Spanish Town needs improvement in order to get to the Spanish Town Hospital as quickly as possible. You understand? We need other roads between Bridgeport and the 100-man police station. It's traffic jam right through the day.
All right.
You understand?
Yeah. Infrastructure, you want to say, Mr. Williams?
Exactly.
Mary had.
We have Jennifer. We have a comment from Jennifer who just came on. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us. And I get she's saying that Mr. William is being a little bit ingenuous because what our comment is saying that, listen, St. Thomas doesn't have a community college, but it's a parish. So obviously, it's everybody have their own opinions as to how much it's supposed to be, enough dialogue, what it's supposed to have before you can have parish.
But hold on, Mary.
That's our show for this week. Guys, we want
Mary,
to say thanks for
this is what the people of Portmore are asking for themselves.
All those people have helped us with this show. Mary had a whole package to give. Winnie had a package going back to Reagan and the harder they come and police excesses. Mary wanted to tell us all how to tone down and to be fantastic, but we don't have it this week. We're sorry. We thank you all for being with us. And that's our show. Keep your comments coming to the Frankly Speaking Jamaica YouTube channel and also to WhatsApp 876-503-9995. You'll get that and I respond to them. We invite you again to check out our 5-minute midweek podcast on this channel. The most recent episode, so number 5, was on Falmouth. On behalf of Winnie Anderson Brown, Mary Grange, Desmond Richards, and Joshua Black, the technical services, I'm Franklin McKnight, thanking all our guests, Mr. Swaby, Mr. Johnson, and Mr. Williams. Until
Thank
then.
you, sir. Okay, thanks.